Here we go with circuit number 1, chest press, push-ups, and dumbbell squats. You're going to lay on your back either on a bench or the floor, bending your elbows down to 90 degrees. Make sure you don't go past 90 degrees if you're on the bench. You're going to follow this with incline push-ups. On your knees, working on keeping your hands wider than your shoulders, elbows out to the side. And if you can do that well, go ahead and try it with your knees straight. Make sure you can maintain a strong core as you're doing this. You're going to work up to 10 push-ups. Now we have dumbbell squats. You want to make sure you're sitting back into your heels, going down slower than you come up. Here I'm holding a dumbbell for resistance. As you can see, I'm hinging at the hips, making sure I don't round my lower back when I go down into the squat. Squeeze your glutes at the top to make sure you engage them. You can also hold the dumbbell vertically if it's too uncomfortable to hold it sideways. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure you're back in your heels. We follow this with a lunge back row. You get in a split squat lunge and then pull your elbows out into the sides, engaging your shoulder blades first to pull the weight back, using a band or a cable for resistance. Our next exercise uses a cable or a band, and you're going to sit in a squat and just punch your arms forward and back. The resistance is coming from the side, so your obliques engage to help hold your body stable. Make sure you do both sides. And then when you go back to the rows, you're going to switch the leg for the second set. So you have 12 on one leg, 12 on the other leg. And then the third set, you do 6 reps on each leg. That way you're working out even work in your legs. The next circuit is curl to overhead press or forward and side raises. You're going to stand and curl to your shoulders and then turn the weights forward and press overhead. Make sure your feet are together and your knees are softly bent. Engage your core for stability and do not lean back when you reach your arms overhead. Here you're going to see as I push overhead, I'm keeping my back very stable. If I don't do that, my core will disengage and I might arch my back. So make sure you don't lean back as you push the weights overhead, but keep that body nice and stable in the center. That's where your core engages and gets super strong. Also, don't use your legs to get the weights overhead. Keep your body stable and steady as you push the weights with only your arms overhead. If you can't maintain a strong core when you're doing it standing, just sit down. Having a seated position will help support your back and make it a little bit easier to get the weights overhead. And if you can't do it overhead without shoulder pain, it's recommended that you just take the weights to 90 degrees. Forward and side raises are great for building that strength in the shoulder muscles until you're ready to go overhead. Same rules apply. You want to keep that core strong and stable, no arching of the back, and only go up to 90 degrees. Don't use momentum, use control. Control is strength. Core is strong, and I'm keeping my body stable as my arms are going forward and back. We add to this a tricep pushdown. You're going to use either a triangle in the weight room with a cable or the resistance band. You want to keep your elbows to your side and make sure you go slower than you go down slower than you go up. Go down slower here as well as you do a sumo squat. Your feet are apart and pointed out. The weight's held in the center and your back stays more erect than over. You don't really hinge at your hips too much. You're working on keeping those back muscles firing as the weight resists you coming forward. Don't hinge. That would be more of a deadlift. Make sure you keep your back straight up and keep your toes and knees pointed out to the sides. Great job.